theanxietycenter.com.
You know, it's important to have people around you, and if you know, not everybody's as fortunate to have people around them all the time, but that's why, you know, it's great to have a counselor that you can have somebody to talk to, share your feelings with, give you the feedback. One of the things I think that's important that I read on the site is that, you know, I can see at the early stages, you know, it's a lot of people have a tendency to use their closest, you know, maybe your parents or your spouse or your friends or whomever, you know, as counselors, and I think that's why it's important to have a counselor like from the Anxiety Center, because I think there are certain. It's great to have loved ones who are really patient with you and who are listening to you, but at the same time, I think it's important not to use your loved ones as counselors, not to rely on other people to reassure you all the time, especially with, for example, you know, if you're worried about your health and you're always asking your loved one, what does this feel like to you, or, you know, do I have a bump here, or, you know, have you ever had this, and you got to be careful not to push it too far, and it's not always that your loved ones are equipped with the skills that are required to help you, whereas a counselor is. So, you know, it's great if you have loved ones, talk to them, share your feelings, but they're not counselors, and that's why you have counselors.
Yeah, you bet. Good comments. And for those who are looking at therapy as an option, maybe they've struggled for a number of years, they've tried self-help, and they're still back in the same spot, what would you say to them?
Go for it. I mean, it's the best decision I've ever made. I think that, you know, I think a lot of people can get help from self-help and from books and so on. I think that, you know, if you're really struggling, then what we talked about earlier, where you filter a lot of the information that you take in based on your perspective on life, you know? And I think that at least I tried a lot of the self-help books and so on beforehand, and, you know, I would pick out a little piece here and there that might help me, but a lot of them promised a cure. A lot of them promised quick fix, and they don't deliver, and then you just end up more frustrated. And as well, I mean, if you are in the thick of anxiety and you are feeling those feelings and you're thinking fearfully and you're filtering the information that comes in, it's really hard to recognize. It's hard to recognize the state that you're in, and it's hard to recognize the behaviors and actions and things that are causing you stress and causing the anxiety. So that's when you really need the help of somebody who's gone through it and who can look at it objectively from the outside to help, you know, steer you in the right direction and ask the right questions.
You know, we mentioned at the website the most effective way to recover was the combination of self-help and therapy, and I mean that's been my personal experience. And would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially good self-help. I mean, the resources that are available in the Anxiety Center are great because they're written by you guys and by qualified counselors and others. And you know, I think at least in the beginning, and I think this is an experience that's shared by a lot of people who have anxiety, is that, you know, you tend to Google a lot of stuff and try to figure out answers to a lot of questions. And, you know, on the web, there's tons of stuff, good and bad. And, you know, it's you'll find a whole bunch of things that will probably not reassure you, but rather make you feel worse. But the good thing about the Anxiety Center is that, especially in the early stages where you do need a lot of reassurance, it's a safe place, really. It's a place where you know that you can get good, considered, professional information that's written by people who know what they're talking about, and not somebody who's just trying to get hits on their website by having the most sensational stories. You know, use the information that's there. That's my recommendation. But if you're really struggling and you're not making it on your own with self-help, then don't hesitate to get in touch with a coach or a counselor who can help you through it.
Oh, well, thank you for that recommendation. We certainly appreciate it. One final question. So, you know, you've obviously come across the chemical imbalance notion and the genetic predisposition notion about anxiety disorder. What's your view on that now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back again to what we were talking about earlier in the call, which is that I think society likes to promote the idea of a quick fix or a cure. I think that it's a very attractive option to take a pill or similar things with the goal of making it go away. And I can see now, having gone through the process, that it's obvious that it's the behaviors and the underlying factors. What did you learn growing up? What's your perspective on life? How do you see yourself? How do you react to certain situations? How do you cope? Those are the things that make the difference. I mean, if you're experiencing significant, overwhelming physical symptoms, then I think taking medication can help you through that early stage so that you can clear your head enough to be able to deal with the issues. But that's not a cure because it's just treating the symptom. It's not curing the problem. So I can't speak for everybody because I only know my own experience, but I think, there's no way to get better without other than just working at it. Taking the time, learning, because you have to learn a ton. Changing behaviors takes a lot of work. But the best thing you can do is just have the patience and just be willing to go for it. And be willing to go through good days and bad days. And one of the things that I learned through the process as well, which is related to this, is that recovering isn't a linear process. And I think a lot of people, like you say, who suffer from anxiety are logical thinkers. They like things to be in order, A-type personality, so to speak. You expect, I do A, therefore B will happen. But it doesn't work that way, because there's so many different factors involved. You might make, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, just kind of stick with it and, give yourself a break, realize that, you're learning something new. It takes time. You're just good at it. Some days you're not good at it others. If you approach it with an attitude of acceptance and just kind of try to relax a little bit, and not give yourself such a hard time, then I think you'll get there.
Well, great advice. Unfortunately, our connection is breaking, so we'll probably have to wrap. But I wanted to thank you again for your well thought out answers. Again, you're a testimony to hard work, and you're going to succeed, and your life is certainly going to be all in your control now because of the tools you've learned. So I just think it's great, and I certainly want to tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation. I'm sure it's going to be a tremendous support for those who are listening and struggling and who want to accomplish the same kind of success that you have. So thanks so much again, Adam.
No worries.
Thanks, Adam. You take care.
You too, Jim. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.